I just got back from a trip to Europe where I was impressed by the real brick and mortar presence of European nationalists. They are way ahead of us. I was especially struck by this during a conference in Rome organized by Countercurrents. It was held at a building in central Rome that is the headquarters of Casa Pound, an organization founded officially in 2008, but that grew out of the illegal occupation of this building 5 years earlier. It had been used as offices by the Italian government, but was empty for years. A group of young men decided to live in it, and despite legal battles, they've occupied it ever since. Casa Pound is named for the American poet Ezra Pound. It styles itself as third position, neither left nor right, and is fiercely nationalist and European. Europe does not yet exist, it proclaims. It must be built as the land of our children. Last year, Casa Pound organized the first Italian remigration conference with a full house of 500 people, and it had to turn away another 100 because there wasn't room for them. It holds marches, like this one in front of its building, and has run political candidates. But perhaps even more impressive is Casa Pound's physical presence throughout Italy. Hover over any of the dots on this map, and you get the contact information for a Casa Pound branch, bookshop, social center, bar, cafe. Wherever a member sees this flag, he knows he will be welcomed by comrades. This is a movement that is political, cultural, and social, and 100% pro-European. There is nothing like it in the English-speaking world. It is a wonderful framework for education, solidarity, activism, and politics, a real model for all of us. I've had 2 other recent brick-and-mortar experiences in Europe. I made a video last month about attending my first remigration march in Leuven, Belgium. This is a spectacular annual event sponsored by the Nationalist Student Association, or NSV. It is a 50-year-old organization now devoted to Flemish and European nationalism. Entirely aside from its public demonstrations, it has spaces for pure fellowship, which it takes seriously. Nothing compares to meeting face-to-face. NSV members work out and train together, and also do something else. They sing. They have a fat book of patriotic songs. Singing together really builds camaraderie. Doesn't this look like a great group? Heck, I'd join just for the snappy cap. The NSV makes me imagine the secret society of Skull and Bones at Yale as a white advocacy organization, which it probably would be if its members from a few years back could return from the grave and run the place. Last week, I spoke to a French group in the university town of Angers. Here I am in the basement of its 3-story clubhouse, where there was plenty of room for an audience of 50 people. Later, we went to a bar that the group runs. It's like a speakeasy. You have to be a member or a known friend of the group to get in. And even on a weekday, it was lively. Here, too, young people are forging political and social bonds that can last a lifetime. Well, what about the United States? Return to the Land, which I have written about before, is a wonderful, intentional community of white people. But it is a greenfield site carved out of the virgin forest. It now has a number of comfortable houses built from scratch and a recently constructed meeting hall, where I gave a talk at its last fall festival. Return to the Land is very homestead and family-oriented and is building the ideal environment for white children. It has great potential for expansion, but with about 40 full-time inhabitants, it's just starting out. For fitness-oriented men, there are active clubs, a network of martial arts training groups that have some gyms of their own. Members meet not just for training. They also hike and socialize together. But there's still an underground quality about the groups that comes from the need to avoid being doxxed. There are active clubs across North America and Europe that you can learn about on its website. Patriot Front, which works closely with active clubs, is more public-facing and best known for marches and banner drops. However, perhaps more important, it does relief work in distressed white communities, organizes martial arts and physical fitness training, educational work for members, and is building a cadre of men dedicated to building white communities and eventually a white America. And yet, as you can see from the masks and blurred faces, it still has a kind of off-the-record feel. This is very different from Casa Pound and the Flemish NSV. They are publicly and openly associated with remigration, about as clear a form of white advocacy as you'll find anywhere, without fear of losing jobs or being ostracized. Yes, they get some Antifa harassment, but there are already elected leaders who promote the idea of Europe for Europeans. This is Herbert Kickl of the Austrian Freedom Party. The banner at this Italian demonstration by the Lega Party says, "Without fear, in Europe, masters in our own home." Europe simply has a more open political environment for above-ground nationalism. This means it has frameworks of fellowship for men and women of all ages and from every social class. But that doesn't change my point. There is no substitute for meeting in the real world. There's no substitute for talking, working, sweating, training, drinking, demonstrating, and singing together to build bonds and establish community. Let us meet in private when we must, and in public when we can. As we become bolder, we will draw more people our way, and the damage of doxing will continue to decline. This virtuous cycle is already in motion, and our European comrades are showing us the way.